Hi, Terry. Did I see Leo? How are you? Didn't mean to embarrass you, but I figured you'd be on the tractor or something. Good to see you. Hey, we've got more chairs back there, I think. If any of you want to grab a chair and get in a comfortable space, feel free. I'm Joe McCoy. I'm one of Ethan's grandpas. His other proud grandpa is Steve, right here. And I've told about 5 men today that if I break apart, I'm just going to hand my cards off and just read through and make something up, tell a good story, and we're good. So if that happens, somebody will cover it. First of all, today's word is thank you. Thank you. Many of you know I have a love affair that goes on with trees, and it's been going on for a long, long time. I'm going to speak in a metaphor. Some of you little ones may not understand, but Mike would be really proud. There are tree rings that go around on tree trunks and limbs and branches. And you can't see it very well from where you're sitting, but if you were up close, you'd see these little rings and you could count how many years old this tree is. The center of that tree is the first year. Well, I want to say thank you to a whole bunch of you that have been the rings in the tree of my life for the past number of years. You'll notice that the center of this got cracked. It got stressed. It lost something. But it held together because it's surrounded by rings of care all the way around. And that continued to grow and grow and grow. I wanted to say thank you to Joey and Steph for being just the parents that Ethan needed the most. God created you for that little boy and the other 3 that you have. Thank you for your strength and your love. You've lifted one of the heaviest weights that have to be lifted by a loving parent. I love you. Steve and Esther, thanks for being the grandparents that little boy loved. For trips to the cabin, for cookies on Tuesdays with Mimi. That little boy never doubted that he was loved by you. Thank you. Neighbors and friends, I saw Debbie and Cammie are here, and Bruce and Jill are here, and our neighbors loved Ethan. Oh, and by the way, I'm not on the clock yet. This is all for free. Okay, so put your stopwatches away. My neighbors have been dear people to all of us. You have loved that little boy, and when he charged you for oranges driving by on our road, you graciously stopped and took 5 oranges, and you probably gave him a quarter or maybe even $1. But thank you for doing that. You loved that little boy, and he knew he was loved, as do my other grandkids as well. Friends. Hey, is Caden here? Caden, where are you, Caden? Wave your hand. I'm looking for you. There he is. Caden. You were one of Ethan's dear, dear friends. You made him feel included. Thank you for that. I'll give you a hug later when I have my mask on. Okay? Good job, buddy. Hi, Dan. Dear friends that have loved over 40 years. The school. Ramey is going to talk, and Casey Hardesty is going to talk, and everything's going to be good. Thank you to Durham Elementary for loving my grandson, loving me as well, because whenever I walk on that campus, I am greeted by love and care and smile and acceptance, and you loved that boy. I'm forever thankful. Dave and Janice Walker, you're here. I saw you. I got a mask for Dave. Every time I go across that little bridge going near your neighborhood, I think of the magical Sunday. There they are. The magical Sunday that Ethan invited himself to your house for dinner. And Dave said, oh yeah, but we could go out and we could go fishing on the flatboat thing. Yeah, we'll do that. And so they did. Ethan loved you too. Thanks for enriching his life. Hello Wilcox staff, my family for 36 years, or actually more than that even. Yeah, I know there are a bunch of you here. Thank you for loving my whole clan. Thank you. That's all today is about. It's saying thank you for the times that you have poured out your love all over my family for so many years. My heart is grateful. I have to look heavenward, Bill, and I raise my hands and I say, thank you, God, for 10 wonderful years with that little boy. He changed my life just like he may have changed all of yours. Okay, you can start the clock now. Soren Kierkegaard has said, life can only be understood backwards, but it must be lived forwards. My dad used to quote that quote, and I never really understood fully. I think I understand a little more now. C.S. Lewis has said, life with God is not immunity from difficulties, but peace in the difficulties. And I believe that's absolutely true. Lessons from a life with Ethan. Okay, now we're really going to roll, Ron. You ready? Number one, a little lesson learned from life with my grandson, Ethan. The autism spectrum diagnosis came as a big shock to all of us. We didn't know what to think, and being an elementary educator, you'd think I'd know all about all that stuff, but I didn't. Well, suffice it to say that autism spectrum children are not damaged goods. They're just wired differently, as my Ethan was. Unconditional love from a family and friends enabling you to grow in patience and grace and empathy, brings those kiddos along, shows them that the world is a safe place, a place for them as well. That was lesson number 1. Ethan loved to revel in simple pleasure. And I was reminded of it again this week because the first daffodil popped up in my front yard. Revel in the simple pleasures. Ethan and I, about 7 years ago, went out and we planted a 50-pound bag of daffodil bulbs in my front yard, all over the place. Ethan couldn't wait till those bulbs came up. And so the first day he came down to have breakfast, he came running in the door and he had picked the first daffodil to come up. And we spent the rest of that spring trying to persuade him to leave some of the daffodils in place because they'll last longer that way, so don't pick them up. But actually, as I watched him, he would take those to his Oma and give those to his Oma, and he never could say the words really, but it all meant, I love you, Oma. Revel in the simple pleasures. Like picking blackberries before breakfast to share with everyone. And eventually helping to flip pancakes for breakfast. He just loved helping and doing stuff together, and he took great delight in it. Number 3, see the unseen. Okay, Steph's telling me hurry up. Okay, it's okay, Steph, I'll embarrass you. See the unseen. Ethan and I would go out to pick the berries, and Papa, there's a flower inside that flower. Yeah? I can't see it. Look, right here. He's talking about the stamens coming up in the middle of the flower, and each of them had 3 little petals on it, but he could see what I was not seeing. Took great pleasure in preparing for hospitality. There's a picture right over there of him pressing apples, preparing, and then he would get that apple cider and we'd go up and sit down and he'd kind of put his chest out and he'd say, Papa, would you like a glass of apple cider? He really loved preparing, took great pleasure in hospitality. Love your family. Josh, I noticed you didn't make it back to my house for Thanksgiving this year. That's because Ethan wore you out the year before. He took great delight in having you. He just latched on to you, which Ethan would do. He loved his family. It was a safe place. Seamus and Wyatt, I have you two on film with Ethan. He took great delight in his cousins and his brothers and sisters. Plan ahead. That's number 6 if you're counting. Plan ahead. Oma's birthday cake had to happen, and so we got it. And then Mimi's birthday cake, and he was planning Bonnie's birthday cake and Papa's birthday cake, and it would go on and on and on. But plan ahead. That's what he was all about. Embrace and anticipate adventure. Trips to the cabin just were over the top with Papa Steve and his daddy. going up and seeing his cousins up there and just loving being up there in the wilderness. That was Ethan. Camping at the waterfalls in Oregon, Silver Falls. He wanted to have his picture taken at every waterfall. So every little puddle of water going across the path, we had to take his picture to get him to move on. He loved the tide pools and exploring Agate Beach every year. He loved those adventures. Number 8, don't be afraid to meet new friends. Right over in front of my truck is where Ethan had his little booth during the Harvest Festival, and he would sell birdhouses and succulents. He took great delight in meeting new friends, and he got over that fear real quick. Ethan had curiosity and excitement that were infectious, that splashed all over the world around him. Dietrich Bonhoeffer said, the more beautiful and richer the memory, the more difficult is the separation. But the gratitude transforms the agony of the memory into a great joy. One bears the bygone beauty not as a stain, but as a precious gift in itself. In conclusion, some lyrics from a song real quick by Gloria Gaither says this: we have these moments to hold in our hands and to touch as they slip through our fingers like sand. Yesterday's gone, and tomorrow may never come. But we have these moments today. Spend yourself well, parents and grandparents. Take the time to love your little ones. It's worth the time. God bless you.